Josh, it's hot stove time for the Detroit Tigers, and
Yes, sir.
they've come out with kind of a flat tire signing and a DFA. So they go out and sign Alex Cobb today. They gave him 15 million. That's up to 16.5 million with incentives if he makes as many starts as he needs to. That is absolutely stupid. $15 million for a guy that's 37 years old. He's never healthy anymore. The thought is that Scott Harris was with San Francisco when he had two of his better seasons a couple of years ago, right? He was an all-star with San Francisco. However, 37, and he's getting 15, maybe up to $16.5 million. They designate Akil Badu, who
About time.
yeah. I mean, listen, we know who he is. He's a 4A player, right? What's
Yeah.
4A mean? You ask. It means there's no spots for him. There's just not any place for him on this team. Um, he was kind of just really inconsistent, but the Cobb signing, I don't like it at all. I think he's just old, and I understand what they're able to get done here with Federer and what he can do, but like, can we like actually sign a decent free agent at pitcher? I mean, do we have to keep bringing in guys that are like reclamation projects?
Yeah, no, you kind of hit on the head. Like that was kind of one of my main points here. Like I love the Alex Cobb signing. If we can bring in somebody else to go along with it, it kind of gives us the depth that we need then at the pitching rotation with Alex Cobb. Then, but we need to bring in like a Jack Flaherty type again. Like yeah, we just traded him, but like we need to bring in that solid number two guy. And then
Yeah,
Cobb at that point is just a luxury then.
yeah. Honestly, it was weird because there's been reports out of Tigers camp that Brant Herter could possibly be in the starting rotation, which I don't love that, but he's a lefty. Yeah, he was good in small sample sizes this past year. However, I just don't see that. I mean, Kenta Maeda, they're saying, hey, let's give him another shot. Here's the solution right here. And if you ask, and I know you agree with me, bring Matt Manning in, let him take the
Yeah.
5 or the 4, whatever it may be, and just let him pitch, man. Like they
Yeah,
keep
I know.
him in Toledo. I don't get that.
Yeah, I agree. For him not to see any innings last year in the postseason, especially in that Guardians series, made no
Right.
sense really. Like I mean, even if you threw him in like a bullpen start, like, he's going to give you at least a good solid 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah.
Like save your bullpen, you know what I mean? Like rest them up. Like it was still a long season at that point. He still had potentially because they gave away that Guardian series, in my opinion.
Of
I
course they
mean,
did. Of course they did.
so if you manage your pitching better, like you have a whole nother series against the Yankees in the ALCS, like where Matt Manning could have been valuable to you, and you could have saved those bullpen arms.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, at times, I'd have felt better with Matt Manning out there than Cater Montero, but I mean,
Yeah,
whatever. So Badu, 26 years old. Still can't believe he's only 26. Feels like he's like
right.
34 because he's been here for so long.
Yeah,
He was originally a Rule 5 pick, right? So he
yeah,
got here in 2001, had frustrating 2022, sophomore slump, bounced between Detroit and AAA, Toledo in 2023 and 24. Um, he just doesn't have much, man. I mean, he's got some speed, not elite speed. He's got a decent arm, not an elite arm. He's got okay pop and consistent pop. So it's like, what does he do? I mean, in my
yeah.
opinion, it was like, all right, let's give some of these other guys, a chance and see what they can do. Josh, it's really and this is our first time talking about the hot stove for the Tigers right now. But when you look at some of the guys that they're flirting with, it's really discouraging because this is a team that came off of a run that nobody saw coming, right? But Scott Harris is
Yeah.
going to come out and say, "Oh, we saw it coming. We knew it was going to happen." No, you didn't, dude. Like you went on one of the best runs ever in baseball history to do this.
Yeah.
Um, AJ Hinch, absolutely a stud. However, we're starting to run out of time and getting his guys. Where it's like Alex Bregman, the last of his guys, right?
Right.
And they don't want to pay the money for him. It's like there's no cap in baseball. and you're going to say, and the report that came out said that they're gun shy because of the money they gave Javi. Javi and Bregman are two completely different players, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, they have Gold Glove type defense, but Bregman's game, I think, would really, really play well in Detroit because he's
Yeah.
not just he's not just some guy that like, hey, he's gonna hit 50 bombs. No, he's like 25, 30, but he's got some extra base pop. I think he'd
Oh, yeah.
get 40 doubles in Detroit.
Oh,
Um,
for sure. Like his home runs might dip a little bit, but he's still gonna hit 25 home runs. He'll probably
yeah,
give you 30. He'll give you 30
and have a
doubles,
Gold
90 RBIs.
Glove defense,
Right, right.
right?
25, 30 home runs, 90 RBIs, like that type of guy. Like, and that's what Detroit needs badly to know that lineup as an RBI guy.
Yeah, and and then you look at some of the reports and you're like, okay, who are they interested in? And they're interested in guys like Hassan Kim, who's coming off of an injury from San Diego. I mean, he would literally start the year on the injured list. Like
Yeah,
he's
he won't be back until June, from what
right,
I've seen.
right. And is he a nice bench player? Yeah, of course. Is he better than what we have right now at third? I think we can both agree. Probably, right? Matt
I
Vierling
mean,
is like
yeah,
decent. Um, but it would
yeah.
be nice to get somebody here.
Vierling is so loved though here in Detroit,
I
which is
don't get it.
crazy to me. Dude averages like what 220.
Well, he hit 250 this past year with 17 bombs,
Okay,
which is like
career year.
no for sure, but like he's not a guy that can play
But
162
that just goes to
games.
show, like that just goes to show the type of players the Tigers have. That's a career year for a player,
Well, of
and to
course.
make the type of run that they did, like that's why us fans are talking about like, hey, let's do something here. Let's get back to the postseason and continue this run.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, this is a young team, and I just saw Jace Young just had wrist surgery, right? Which I guess the only positive
And
you can take from that is maybe that's why he didn't have any homers, right?
right,
Like it, because he was not good. He hit like
yeah,
220, no extra base pop. They got Spencer Torkelson, and they're looking at signing 37-year-old Goldschmidt, Paul Goldschmidt, which he has been on the decline. I was reading an article here, and he's been on the decline the last 4 years. I mean, he's really, really dipped. And my concern is if you bring in a guy like that, when you should be, in my opinion, bringing in like a guy like Christian Walker, but when you bring a guy in like this where his power is dipped, dude, this could be like the bad years of Miggy Cabrera, where he had warning track power. Detroit is no
well, I mean,
minor league ballpark, man. It's hard to
no,
hit him.
I mean, I agree, but I mean, just looking at his numbers even last year, like he played in 154 games, so he was relatively healthy. He hit 22 home runs. He did
That's his
have, a
average.
little. His average was a little lower than what we're used to seeing him, with the
Where
Diamondbacks and
was his
obviously
RBIs?
his early. He had a 245 average and he had 65 RBIs.
See that, but that to me, that really that spells like, hey, this guy is gonna have to like DH or matchups. And if you're
No,
talking
I
about
agree.
keeping Torque and him, then maybe that's a different conversation.
See, but what I personally would like about the move with Goldsmith coming to Detroit is the fact that we actually have some players in this lineup who can actually get on base for him. St. Louis, in my opinion, doesn't really have that
I
for their
mean,
power
they had the
guys.
other dude you wanted, who I disagree with. I don't want Arenado. I think for the money that he's owed, I just don't. Ugh. I love
I
his
mean,
glove,
I want
Josh,
him.
but
I want him or Bregman from the standpoint that it's a massive need for the Tigers.
yeah, I
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the sole reason why I want him. You know what I'm saying?
here's what I don't get though. If you are Scott Harris, you want to fill the seats. If you go
Yeah.
out and get a Goldschmidt or a Bregman or an Arenado, you're gonna fill the seats,
Yeah.
right? Because it's at least
One,
some hope.
yeah. No, my number one guy that I want them to bring in, I mean, he's coming off an injury riddled season this last year, but he's a starting pitcher. He's in his mid 20s. I mean, plays for the Dodgers. I would love to see Walker Bueller here in Detroit.
So he's actually 30 years old, believe it or not.
Is he really? He
Yeah,
looks
he's
young as hell.
he's gonna be well, but the thing is
But
he's
still, I would
young.
love
He's
him
a
here in
younger 30.
Detroit.
He's had injuries.
Right. Right. And
But here's the problem though. He wants a multi-year deal. Detroit's not offering any free agents multi-year deals. They said that 1-year deals and you will be stuck with crumbs like Alex
right,
Cobb.
no. But that's also why I think if you can talk Walker Bueller into a 1 year deal coming off of a injured riddled season, I think I would pull I would pull the trigger in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like it, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, these are wishes, right? But
No, 100%. This is just all wishful thinking for us. This is how we project them to get to back to the postseason.
right.